Silver sword's your best option for keeping them at bay.
It's just after midnight on the 1st of January 2020. If you're watching this, it means you made it. Congrats and Happy New Year. I'm sure many of you have made resolutions this year, and I wish you the best of luck. There's no time like the present to start making the right moves for your future, which brings me to my own resolution. See, I've always had such a deep passion for gaming, and lately I've been feeling more and more like I need to do something with that beyond just gaming. Because it's not just playing games that makes me happy, it's everything about gaming. News, leaks, the console war pettiness, even just talking about gaming always makes me feel so good. I'm sure you know exactly the feeling I'm talking about too. It's that feeling you get when you're around a bunch of people who don't game at all, and then you end up talking to the one other person there that does, and you two just kind of disappear into your own world, sharing your greatest memories of your favorite games. I wish I could feel like that all the time, and that's the main reason I'm talking to you right now. See, there's a lot of games coverage out there, and I love it all, but I feel like there's a lack of discussing that magic that gaming brings to our lives. This hobby or passion we all share goes so much deeper than how a game is reviewed or its graphic fidelity or the game length. I want more discussion about how it makes you feel, how a moment in gaming almost made you cry or helped you deal with a bad situation you were going through at the time. That's what I want this channel to be about. I think the day that made me decide that I really wanted to start this channel was during a conversation I was having on Twitter. Me and another guy were reminiscing about how much gaming has changed since we were kids. See, my very first console was a Nintendo. It blew my mind because arcades were still a pretty common thing in most malls around the country. Hell, malls were still a pretty common thing around the country at that time. And before I had a console, I had to go to the arcade to game. So having my own console in my own home that I could play whenever I wanted without having to beg my grandmother for quarters was absolutely astonishing to me. Me and the guy on Twitter were talking about how it wasn't uncommon to play a game that you couldn't save in. That meant you had to be able to play all the way through the game with the lives you were given, usually 3. And this was a problem for me because sometimes I'd be told to go to bed, but I couldn't just turn the system off. I'm already further in the game than I've ever gotten before, and I couldn't bear to start the whole thing over the next day. So I'd pause it overnight, and I'd pray that I didn't wake up to a flashing screen the next morning. God, talk about pressure. I loved my Nintendo, but it had some problems, and all the kids I grew up with know exactly what I mean. Sometimes it would just glitch out and stop working. Other times the cartridges wouldn't work unless you spent like 10 minutes blowing the dust out of it first. Ugh, I still remember that horrible whistling sound it made when you did that. But when it worked, it was incredible. I spent so much time playing games like Contra, Little Nemo, and Mario. Blockbuster was still around back then too, and trips to the video store to rent games was always the plan for the weekend, always. Me and my best friend would plan sleepovers and rent a couple games to try to beat during the weekend. It wasn't as easy as it is today to find a game, to find out if a game was bad or good either. We were judging games solely based on box art. It was always a gamble, and it ended up being really awesome when it worked out because, we end up finding a new favorite game. Anyway, all that reminiscing on Twitter made me decide that I wanted to start something where people could come and share all of those great memories about or around gaming and what it means to us. I'm in a position of watching games mature from jumping on the bad guy's head and saving the princess all the way up to having to watch a romance build between two characters only to helplessly watch as one of them is impaled by a sword right in front of the other. I'm still not over that, honestly. Somewhere along the line, games went from being something to just pass the time with to being something that makes us feel and connect with the characters in a very real human way. And I love that because I feel like not only have I grown up with games, but the games themselves have grown up with me. So I'm sorry if all of this was just some rambling mess to you, but I'm just getting started and I haven't completely figured out the structure of this channel yet. Hopefully this sparks some conversation because I'll definitely be in the comment section for it. So head on down to the comment section and tell me about a moment in gaming that meant a lot to you. I'll be picking some of the best ones to read out during the next video. Also, give me a like if you like what I'm doing here and subscribe if you want more. Peace.
Lucius, I need a way to track an ancient root system. It's deep underground.
I'm sure I can throw something together, but it may take me a little while. Come to Wayne Tower when you're ready.